Joining me now is Coach Toby Foreman of the Shoemaker Gray Wolves, just a couple of yards, a couple of points away from being in the playoffs. Coach, I know y'all are a little disappointed with that, but you're building on for next year. Last week, a tough game with the Belton Tigers, and you just couldn't get the points you needed. Talk about that just a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, we came up short, but, kudos to Belton and Coach Sniffen. They did a really good job, and they were prepared, and they made the big plays when they had to make them. That was more of a defensive ball game. It was low scoring. I think it was like 24-15 or 14 or something like that. But, it was disappointing because we had to win that game to keep our playoff hopes alive. But, we got a very familiar opponent to end with, which would be the Ellison Eagles, and kids are looking forward to that, and so are we.
Oh, I bet. And you've got football weather this week, man. There's been a little rain, so kind of might have hindered a little practice time, but you got to love this cool weather. It's football time of year.
No, I agree. I mean, it was we actually practiced in the rain, in the cold yesterday, which was, the kids had a good time, and it was our last full pad practice. So, we anytime you get an opportunity to play another school within your district, especially, Ellison's about 3.5 miles down the road. So, I mean, these kids, some of them went to, played Little League together, and they grew up together, went to middle school together, and now, some of them will end their high school careers against each other, and this game it'll mean more than playoff implications. It'll mean bragging rights throughout, and this is your last high school football game.
Yeah, and you got some of your seniors playing in their final home game at Leo Buckley Stadium, too, and I know they'll be up for this game and want to go out on a winning note, too.
Definitely. Definitely. This is a small group of seniors. We only have about 15 or 16 seniors in this group, but they've been with me all 4 years that they've been in high school, and they've stayed the course. And there's a sign on our weight room door that says "Those who stay will be champions," and that doesn't necessarily mean you win a state championship. It means you've given the championship effort, and a lot of there's a reason there's only 15 or 16 of them, because the group is kind of tapered off, and that's why it's a small group. But these guys we're very proud of, and we want to send them off with a victory.
And Ellison, as you look at them, they've got a pretty tough defensive line. They're making a lot of tackles. Tozino along there, and a couple other guys, their linebackers are good. Got a good defense. Their offense come along here and there.
Yeah, it is. And of course, everybody knows about Devontae Tozino. I mean, he's been offered by everybody except the Dallas Cowboys. And also you got number 51, Brandon Bett. But the guy that I like, and he's really given us fits the last couple of years, is Calvin Harper. He's an outside linebacker, number 7. And you better know where he's at all times. I scouted him against Belton. He didn't play, and I think, in my opinion, that was the difference in the game. He's a very, very good tackler. He's a physical player, and he flies around, and he's all over the place. And so that's somebody that you got to count for. On the offense side of the ball, they're led by senior Kason Sims and wide receiver Zaire King, and then their running back, number 45, Dominic Allison. So you got to know where those guys are as well. Allison has been playing running back about the last 4 or 5 weeks, and he's continued to get better every week. You can see that. And then Zaire King is definitely their deep threat. That's their go-to receiver. So you got to know where he's at all times. So Ellison's very similar to us as far as it's a balanced team. I mean, they do a good job up front defensively, and then offensively, it's they score when they get in the red zone, and we score when we get in the red zone. So in my opinion, this game's going to come down to turnovers and special teams. That's my opinion.
A lot of points, you think?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll have some different folks in different places on our team, and I'm interested to see what they've had a couple guys injured too. But so I don't know. Sometimes when you got players that are not used to playing those positions, you don't gel as well. So it'll be interesting to see. They have a good defense, and I feel like we have a good defense. So it may not be a high scoring game, but it just depends. I mean, like I said, if you get some turnovers involved there, and then the score gets kind of crazy, and that's what's happened to us in the past. And I've made no bones about it. Every game we've won this year, we've had 1 turnover or less, and every game we've lost this year, we've had 3 turnovers or more. So that's definitely my math teacher used to say, that's the common denominator. That's definitely the common denominator there is turnovers for us.
Yeah, and injuries, key injuries. I mean, you had the disc leading rusher was just tearing it up, and the collarbone goes, and that meant a lot to your offense right there. And just key injuries this year is what kept you from being in one of those playoff spots.
Well, I mean, that's not the only reason, but yeah, that's right. You know, when we lost him, it was extremely, that was a big deal. You know, because it's hard to replace somebody with that explosiveness, and you know he was very agile, and it was just unfortunate. Like I said, second district game, and then you know he goes out. So, but we've tried to kind of piecemeal it together since then. It's just. I think the wheels kind of came off last week against Belton. I was looking around calling for another running back, and I looked back there, and there wasn't nobody else coming. So we got into a couple of different formations, and we also had a different quarterback in last week. And so it definitely was challenging. Let me say that. It was definitely challenging.
So Mario will be headed off to college, and so you'll be missing him too next year, but you got another quarterback ready to go?
That's right. We actually will have 3 or 4 guys competing for a job. A couple freshmen, sophomore. Well, actually, a couple freshmen, a couple sophomores, and so that's good. It should be a 4-man competition in the springtime. But Kamari Balfour, who's going to play some tonight at quarterback. I mean, he's had a pretty good season, especially these last 3 or 4 games. Then we got a JV quarterback that's explosive. He's you got to account for where he's at, and then 2 freshman quarterbacks. And I'm gonna brag on my freshmen a little bit. They have the opportunity to go 9-1 and be district co-champions with Temple and Harker Heights, and so this is a very, very good group of freshmen, and they're very, very intelligent. They make good grades, and they're coachable, and they got a little talent too. So normally when you have that combination, that's a recipe for success, and that's the reason. A very, very bright future around here. We have had a down year this year. It was a rebuild year, and we started off good, and then we we're trying to finish on a high note tonight, but we hit that slump right there in the district play. We lost a couple close games, and then we did show up for a couple games, and then now here you are. And so, but moving forward, this is definitely going to be, there'll be a lot of returners off this varsity unit mixed in with the upcoming freshmen, and that should be a recipe for success.
One more thing, I guess you like the Atlanta Braves a little bit, huh?
That is correct. I'm a lifelong Atlanta Braves fan and extremely happy about the outcome of that World Series this past week.
All right. You live down by Houston. You're from down by Houston, man.
Yeah, that's right. I've never really been an Astros fan. My dad was a Dodgers fan, and I took to the Braves probably late 80s. So it's been, and then they had the run the runs in the 90s with the great pitching staffs and Deion Sanders, Ryan Gant. There's been some great players come through there, but big win the other day for them in the World Series, because I will tell you, if you put roster to roster, the Stros look like it wasn't even going to be a close contest, and then the Braves won some close games, and then they blew it away in Game 6. So. Big deal right there.
Congratulations, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you to our fans for coming out and supporting us the entirety of the season. We've had good crowds, and that's much appreciated, especially I know the kids appreciate it. So thank you so much, and always go Gray Wolves.